So welcome to our call where we start to tune to our inner oracle and actually start to build it out as a functional facility and a functional faculty in our voices. And what I've realized in recent times is that, and it came in when I was talking to someone about the mother voice, because I've nearly completed a book called Mother Song, and it's about how the female voice is perfectly constructed in every way to provide this transition for an incoming incarnating soul, in baby form. Sorry, to guide that soul from that sphere of spirit through the womb portal, which is the water element, and then into the earth air element of being born in a body in planet Earth outside the womb. And the female voice has this sort of more naturally fluid, watery, softer area component to it. It's higher, it's lighter. It has this flexibility that the masculine voice doesn't actually have. And this is almost like we've been designed to sound our babies through that transition. You know how mothers naturally, if they're not restricted, lullaby their children, chant, sing, tone. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's a natural function. And what I think is that it is actually, we are spiritually designed to transition our babies with our voices. And Kelly, you did a meditation with Isis this morning and she rebirthed you through the birthing canal. And now we are speaking of it again. Yes, everything is beautifully designed to open us up. Now, this natural intuitive capacity that we have, because we are the ones that have to tune to our babies for that pure survival, that primal survival capacity. We have to be able to tune into this pre-language little thing to keep it safe, to keep it alive. And our voices are part of that. We tune in intuitively with our voices. So the voice of the feminine has this extraordinary, natural, intuitive brilliance. We are programmed in our voice to be intuitively brilliant with it. And if you go back in time to the time of the oracles were the voices that ruled the world, and they were female. So once upon a time, the female voice ruled the world. And in the last place of the oracles, really in that sort of mainstream culture, of course, tribal cultures that continued, kept their oracles and kept their shamanic traditions. But mainstream culture, with that rebirth of the intellectual soul in ancient Greece, the oracles were shut down and silenced. Okay, so the age of the oracles finished, and the age of that predominance of the female voice was pretty violently suppressed. And that authority, that intuitive authority of the female voice was suppressed. And it is my great belief that Joan of Arc was somehow the last of the true Gaia oracles, those earth oracles that all the ancient oracles were, and the first of what I would call the Christed oracles, that she shape-shifted the oracular presence of the feminine into this new identity. And that is what we will be looking at with Gaia and Mary Magdalene in our majors. So we'll be looking at what was the Gaia oracle and what is the Mary Magdalene oracle, that feminine Christ consciousness oracle, and how does she speak. But I thought we could absolutely look at that with Joan of Arc and for ourselves. So I'm just going to clear my throat because it's creepy. because I haven't had much sleep this weekend. It's been a crazy weekend. Yes, so we are naturally, intuitively powerful with our voices. That intuitive faculty is very self-evident when we are with our babies. That intuitive faculty, yeah, has been shut down about 3,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago, sorry, was the last oracle. Yeah, okay, but it started before then. So, yeah, about 2,000, little less than 2,000 years ago, the last oracle was closed. And so the intuitive voice of the feminine has undergone a transition, all right? And it had had to undergo this transition in secret, really, because women were, in fact, any clairvoyant people were violently suppressed and brutally squashed by the church. You know, you see in the witch burning times that children and oracle, can I explain oracle? Yes, yeah, I will. So there were people that were burned in the witch burning times that it's like, why were they burned? It was because they were clairvoyant. So the church was very determined to stamp out any evidence of clairvoyance, because it was a challenge, you know, a genuine challenge to the authority and power of the church and the dominance of the church. And we're talking about the Roman Catholic Church here. And there were many crusades by the Roman Catholic Church that suppressed, you know, the Albigensians, the Cathars. There were cleansing of more clairvoyantly oriented church sects, S-E-C-T-S, and church movements. Now the oracle, Ruth, the oracle was, probably the easiest place to look at it is with the Delphic oracle, the oracle with Delphi in Greece. And the oracle would give guidance to people who came to her. And she was at a temple. She was always connected with a temple. In the Avalon, in the Celtic oracles were usually in nature. There was a nature temple, and they would be sort of attended by the priestesses. Sometimes the priestesses themselves would be, there would be an oracle, but sometimes the oracle was sort of specifically set aside to intuitively guide, and the oracular guidance came in the form of strange metaphors, poetry, sometimes gibberish, sometimes, you know, like some of the Mediterranean oracles, which is like completely insane, and they would say these things, and they were like foaming and frothing at the mouths, and it was this incredible frenzied, almost like lunatic outpouring, outstreaming of information that was then interpreted by the priests or the priestesses around them. So the oracle is never wrong. If you came to the oracle and your prediction didn't work out, it wasn't because the oracle was wrong, it was because you've stuffed up in, you know, interpreting the prediction. So an oracle, we use oracles now. That's an oracle. Oracle cards. Oracle decks are very popular. There's all sorts of crystals, you know, there are all sorts of ways that we use external guidance to know what path to take. It's just guidance, all right? But it had a particular form through the female voice that was revered and worshipped and held in this extraordinary pedestal in ancient times. So everyone would go to the oracle if they could. And this was kings, princes, like people would very rarely dare to walk their individual destiny without guidance from an oracle. So if you were going to do something big, you would go to the oracle. And in the same way that we go to psychics and get a psychic reading, if we, you know, we've got a big question. Now, women being intuitively aligned, we actually have our own inner oracle. And this is what this call is about. This call is about perhaps, not that we have to dismiss external guidance, but that we start to trust our own inner source. Because the soul of humanity has become much more individualized than in ancient times. It's like we're all turning up now with this individual mission, this individual purpose, this individual motivation that kind of pushes us to move and grow and expand in a certain way. And so it's this individualization that means that the oracle function, rather than being a sort of tribal, sort of external, outside me, I have to go to someone else to get guidance, the individualization of it has meant that we individually are starting to activate our own inner guidance and our own inner oracle. So Ruth, tell me if that makes sense about what an oracle is. They were very famous. Like, they were so famous.
It makes sense, but you keep saying oracular too.
Oh, yes. Okay. So oracular is the kind of speaking. So oracular, an oracle gives oracular guidance. So yeah, it's the kind of the form of the oracular means from the oracle. Yeah. It's like the language of the oracle kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. Got that sorted. Yeah, oracular. It's not a very common word, but I guess if we can actually realize that we are all oracular in our nature, we can all guide. And if you think of the modern form, like most of the people on this call will be working with clients and guiding them with a high degree of intuitive guidance, as well as our functional skill sets, our 3D reality skill sets. So every single one of us will be using our natural oracular capacity to work with our clients. And sometimes you'll find yourself where you're just going, oh, and this thing just came out of me and I just knew what to say, and it was like it's all streaming out. That is that oracular flow. And yeah, Rosie, okay, let me have a look at these comments. Karen, yes, you feel like your voice has been shut down, but you feel it on the collective level, so much on the collective level. So this is the collective feminine voice, and it's almost like this layer. If you go in and tune in and look at it, you can see it like a layer, like this sort of smudgy, blah, 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 dark kind of layer of non-voicing for the feminine. You know, the feminine goes so far and then it hits this layer of expression that goes blah, 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 and goes down again. And we have to work quite hard to move through. But part of this is healing this layer of collective silencing and healing it in a way that doesn't always have to activate the warrior goddess. You know, we don't always, like Joan of Arc was absolutely the warrior goddess. No doubt about it. But you'll see as we move through the different goddesses that we don't have to move through this layer of expanding and opening our voices just with the warrior goddess. There are many, many archetypes that need to be revoiced, need to be brought back into being and for us to be really comfortable with. So, you know, we've got those energies to choose from. And collectively we can reclaim it, yes. And that's the key, isn't it? Trusting our own inner source and reclaiming our authority. Yes. Trust yourself, yes. And Irina, you're feeling a bit invisible at the moment as you're rebirthing. Yes, that's a real thing too. It's like we're in, I love the caterpillar butterfly circle, where there will be times where we're in the cocoon and we're in the gloop, and that's all we are, we're just gloop. And the gloop has that innate cosmic, spiritual intelligence that is reforming it. But yeah, you can't do much with gloop. Like if you crack open the cocoon before the gloop has turned into the butterfly, then you're just left with gloop. So no point sharing gloop. Yeah, I totally hear you. And to know when we're in that phase is deeply wise and deeply intelligent. It's not push. Donna, you're in the bubbling, finding your way through the layer. Yes. And been feeling very gloopy this weekend. Yeah, me too. Oh my God, so much gloop. Lordy, lordy. Okay. Yes. And feel that the feminine voice can be caught up in the shadow side of gossip and those sorts of things. Yes, absolutely. And so that's where this natural intuitive alignment we have is really very important, because if we don't anchor our voice to that central column of, I guess, that inner sensing, inner knowing, inner what is right for my soul, regardless of what is right for everyone else's souls out there, and what is my greatest truth, and how do I actually purify that truth, because the throat center is the chakra of purification. Like Vishuddha actually means purification in that Vedic language, yogic language. So the throat center purifies. And so we do have to have a really strong connection to that inner oracular oracle nature, where we feel our own rightness, we feel our own guidance, we experience our own truth. So yeah. And if we don't have that strongly, I agree, Karen, I think we do get caught up in the shadow side of the voice, the shadow side of the feminine voice. Yeah. And that being lost of, walking away from gossip and feeling that is a lost conversation. There's a sense of there's no healing necessarily in, or the not right kind of healing in a gossip conversation. Sometimes there is, sometimes you just need to have a big kind of, well, and move it through the voice. But at the same time, the more layers of awareness we have of what we're manifesting when we speak and when we sound, the more, I guess, conscious we can be. Now, this thing of consciousness is the key to the modern oracle, the key to ourselves as oracles in the modern world. The oracle in ancient times was not conscious. She was not necessarily thinking. She would often go into other states, and this energy would stream through her. Now, she was chosen to be an oracle because she had a natural intuitive capacity. She would be trained to be that channel, to be that kind of stream through which the guidance could move. But the guidance wasn't necessarily coming from her, which is really interesting. So with the ancient oracles, there was a force moving through this human vehicle. And this force was very much a Gaia force, but there was also other stuff in there. And we now are conscious beings. We are more conscious. And so when we guide and when we are intuitive, the more conscious we are and the more discerning we are of what we're bringing through, what energy we're connecting to, what we're tuning to, the better off we are, the safer we are spiritually and energetically. Yeah. Oh, Alice, that is so true. It's such an interesting challenge to be conscious of being, great intuitively, to being an oracle and oracularly good at guiding, but not be driven by the ego. So true, because I think we do have this slight aspiration to being the old form of the oracle, like someone who can channel really easily, who does that. It's like, oh, wow, they're really special. But I would like to propose to you that it is more special for us to have to work to create this capacity. That is actually of more value to bring our thinking and our will and our effort and our study and our learning and our work, our personal effort to developing our intuition than it just being gifted. And most of us are, going to be gifted to a certain extent. Of course we are. We've probably all been oracles. We've probably all done that. So we have that natural ability. But yeah, to actually have to work to become more intuitive means that you are forging yourself in a soul capacity way, in a conscious way. And that is an incredible gift to the whole kind of essence of what being human is, that we endeavor to connect to spirit with our mind, with our body, with our actions, with our being, with our yearnings, with our hearts, and that we actually work those things to come into union. Incredible value in that, right? Rather than saying, oh, I just want it to be easy. It's like, of course it will become easier as we do the work. But the work is a blessing because it makes us conscious of what we are, how we are using our intuition. Linda, it brings all that to the fore in a shape that is perfect for what we need today. Yes. Yeah. And the reason why the work is so important is because of this individual component, is that we are meant to learn to be the kind of oracle that is perfect for our individualized soul. Not a general sort of collective soul thing, but this individual. Oh, there's this real will, the forging of your spiritual forces and your earthly self on a personal level. It really strengthens our free will to choose with love, to choose with courage. There's just the most amazing, it is the most amazing gift to do that, rather than just have it be easy. We all want to be just someone who can channel and it be easy. But yeah, really claim how fantastic it is for you that it isn't easy, because it means that you will forge an individual version, which makes your programs more powerful, because people will come for your individual form of guidance. It makes your expression and your copy and your language more powerful, because people will feel that incredible uniqueness of your intuitive forces in your voice. Yeah, it adds texture and depth to our learning. Yes. Yeah. So there's incredible value in doing the individual work. All right. So I thought we'd hop on and I'll just check in and see if there's any questions. But I thought we'd hop on and do a meditation to start to open up this feeling of the inner guidance. And we'll ask Joan of Arc to come in and I guess show us what that looks like, what that looked like for her, and to be that balance between that pure oracular nature, but at the same time in real connection with her individualized purpose. She knew what her individual mission, her purpose was. She said very clearly, I will be gone in 2 years. I have 4 things to do. I have to drive the English from the soil of France. I have to set free the Duke of Burgundy, who was trapped by the English because he was some sort of really fabulous strategist. I have to see the king of the Dauphin crowned at Reims, and there was one other thing that she had to do. So she said very clearly, that is my purpose, that is my individual mission, that is what I have incarnated to do. And this is what, I guess, the Iraqi vision gives us. It gives us that real understanding of, oh, okay, this is my purpose. And I'm just going to really be clear about it. And then that warrior goddess energy that she has is that I'm totally committed to my mission. And I will use all my abilities to enact that mission, and I will not be afraid. That's where the courage comes in. You know, she inspires us with this incredible courage to do the hard work. You know, she knew she was going to be burned to the stake and having to do all, like, she still was just like, yep, we're doing this. Archangel Michael will take care of me. So yeah, we don't have to face that burning at the stake anymore, which is great. Phew. And but that same, it takes that same level of courage to fulfill our individual purpose, even if our individual purpose doesn't require us to be burned alive. Do you know what I mean? It still takes extraordinary courage and trust and the determination to live in action, but be totally spiritually committed through that action. Amazing. You know, like, imagine if lots of people were doing that in the world. What a world it would be. What a world it would be. So yeah, she's very inspiring. So what we'll do is we'll drop in. So for those of you who are new, usually I take you on a sounding meditation through the inner landscape and start to, so you can experience through the sound the light and the vibration of that particular, for a start, your own spirit guide, but also the light of this particular guide for this module, who is Joan of Arc. And with Joan, we always get Archangel Michael too. She always brings in the angels. So yes, you will probably, yeah, it's very common to sense that angelic experience as well. All right. So just relaxing, and how's my sound? Is it okay? Yeah. Tuning to what I would call your inner GPS for your own potential and your own radiance. And we ask for strong protection and guidance from Source and from the four archangels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Gabriel, Archangel Uriel. And we enter into the space that we call our inner temple. This may be a place in nature or a literal temple space. And this is your healing temple. Your temple where you can meet your spirit guide and do the work to heal and chat and just be held in the light. Sometimes we don't need to look for answers. Sometimes we just need to be with the light. So we'll just tune to that inner temple space at the moment. And you may want to go to the altar and sit at the altar, lay on the ground among the flowers. Now starting to feel that you are surrounded in white light, an individual seal of white light. And this light will allow the energies from source to come through, rather than an infiltration of a whole lot of cosmic stuff. Pure light through your soul, through your spirit, to source. And through this space of light, we feel Joan, Joan of Arc, coming in. And just notice what that feels like. And you see her looking almost like you're on a cliff top, and there is this great vista before you. And she stands there with her banner, the flag flying in the breeze, and the breeze lifting your hair, lifting her hair. And she laughs. She laughs with the joy of fulfilling her purpose. And in your heart, you start to feel this courage, this dynamic of light, of enthusiasm, of ferocity, of love for your purpose, your divine mission. And that heart light spreads down through the solar plexus, irradiating it, down through the womb portal, that feminine portal, irradiating it with light, and down into the root chakra and into Mother Earth, who opens her arms and says, yes, yes, beautiful daughter, yes. And she asks you to trust yourself. Trust your connection to spirit, to your own soul light, to the light of your own spirit, to the light of your guide, your spirit guide, and to the light of source. And she lets that light flood you, almost if there is a choir of angels singing this in. Now we're going to collectively clear some of this layer of obstruction, of obscuration to the source connection of the feminine intuitive voice within us. We're going to actually clear some of that cloud. Okay, we're going to do this together. And each one of us will make that individual connection to the intuition in our voice through every one of the chakras to source guidance. But we're doing it together. Many, many sisters cut their hair and donned armor and rode into battle with Joan. We are opening the vaults to the feminine voice of courage and light, of the new oracle. Beautiful work, everyone. Beautiful work. Now come back in and rest. Rest in the heart. You feel Joan place her hands on your solar plexus. And she whispers her words of guidance, the words of the true oracle over your body, playing like light, the spiritual frequencies of those words entering moving and shape-shifting you. Almost like she moves that right through your body, down your legs, through to your toes, up to the tip of your head, down to your fingertips. Feel this new wisdom moving right through you at a cellular level. And she says, you are your own oracle. And there's so many angels here, and that Christ light, and Mary Magdalene. There's so much light here for you. Just receive. Just be with the light and receive. This is big work that we have done in the light. It's resting and receiving. And there may come to you now a feeling or an image or a word, a gift, a symbol. Spirit often speaks to us through symbols. Just watch that or feel that or sense that now. This is part of your gift, the gifts of the inner oracle. And we wish to say now, thank you to Joan of Arc. Thank you to the angels that have been here with us in Christ light. Thank you to our own guides, our own soul light. Thank you to all the sisters who are holding space with their intelligence, with their love, with their courage, with their bodies, with their voices. And when you're ready, just start to feel that temple space closing down. You're still in your container of white light, but allow yourself to feel the edges of your auric field, the edges of your energy field, the edges of your body, your human parameters. Giving thanks and slowly coming back in when you're ready. there was a lot of light in that meditation, so you may need to have a little rest at some point today. How's that, ladies? Does anyone want to share? Very welcome to wave at me and share if you'd like to. And yeah, interesting to see. Joanne, that was so incredible. It actually was incredible, wasn't it? Your mid-house move and you sat in the coffee shop. Awesome, with your eyes closed. I know, we can do this anywhere, really, can't we? It's like the light is with us at all times. That's fantastic. And Irene, the dove of the Holy Spirit and the peace came in. Beautiful. Yeah, look, I find with Joan, the Christ light always comes in and some sort of symbolism of the Christ energy, which makes sense, of course, in terms of the light that she brings. It's very important to her to bring that light. Natalie, very emotional. Yeah, I'm feeling her strength. And green energy, love and healing, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And Ruth, the color green as well. Yeah. And yes, the emotion, you know, the emotional journey is part of what accompanies this. I think this being in a female body and being in an intuitive body, you know, our emotions are one of the means by which we gather our intuitive information about where we're at, where the world is at, who we are. And yeah, it's part of how we understand life. So yes, we'll be accompanied by that. Open your heart to spirit. Linda, your light body got a tune up. Beautiful. Yes. And Joanne, you saw a symbol that you don't recognize, maybe a feather with a loop on the end. And Kelly, you are reminded that you are a priestess. Yes, yes. And that every one of us in that meditation was asked to heal. You know, we were actually asked to do world work in that meditation. Yeah, so this is, that doesn't always happen. You know, sometimes we're not kind of asked to do that world work, but yeah, we were absolutely asked with Joan of Arc, of course, because her work was for the world. It wasn't just for her personal kind of small space. So yes, it makes sense that she will ask us to do some world healing work. Yeah, beautiful. Yes, priestesses. And Donna, you felt the emotion of the collective feminine voice. So many layers of collective grief in there. Yeah, we really need to honor that, don't we? And allow ourselves to not pretend that there isn't work there to do, you know, in that emotional realm, and to love it. Oh, yes, Kelly, we're not doing this alone. No more alone. I've kind of got to the point now where it's like, I'm not doing anything alone anymore, you know, except for obviously the things that I am meant to do alone. But all the times where I think, oh, I've got to figure this out on myself, it's like, no, go work with someone, do it with spirit, with others, you know, share that sisterhood. It's really great to reclaim that enthusiasm for the co-creation. Yes, and that deep stillness, Lachelle, yeah. And spirit is your source of comfort and power. Beautiful. And the joy of the reconnection and the message loud and clear too, yes, that you're not doing it alone. Good. All right, because Joan certainly couldn't do what she did alone. You know, she needed her army captains. She needed the warriors. She needed the soldiers to fight. So she couldn't just go in and do what she did alone by any means. She had to be with people and inspire them. And I think, you know, we see ourselves inspiring others and then we get inspired by others. So that's that collective inspiration to rise. Rise, rise, rise. As soon as I invited the archangels in, you felt the energy shift here. They hold the space amazingly, those 4 archangels. I've done a lot of work with the mandala of the 4 archangels and moving through their energetic fields. And, you know, if you spend time with each of them, you'll feel the difference. But yeah, collectively they hold this boom. It's like this space goes, right, okay, we're held here. It's gorgeous. And Karen, you felt that too, Donna, lots of clearing on the high realms, and the Magdalene and Joshua and Sacred Union. I know, that's like, oh, they're so in this. And the chalice was your symbol. Yeah, Yeshua meaning Jesus. Yes, of course. Yeah. Wow. Any questions, ladies? No, all right. Well, what I'll do then is I will actually, so I've talked about us as inner oracle and how we are reclaiming that in a more conscious, more thinking way. And to train ourselves as an oracle, we actually need to connect in regularly, let me say daily, in that sacred way, in the way that a priestess of old would have done that priestess work. She would have made that time to connect with the goddess. I wonder if priestesses in ancient times had individual spiritual guides. Very curious about that now. All right, that's a question I can't answer at the moment. I'll have to explore, but certainly we do now. And I'll be putting Trina Lucas's talk on spiritual guidance into this module too. That's really helpful. And the other thing is, because we're no longer as clairvoyant as we used to be, we are not handed the whole spiritual picture. Neither of, we can't necessarily see the spiritual worlds as easily as we used to in ancient times. And we also can't see our individual journey, our purpose, our mission as clearly as we would like to. But what we can do is we can tune to the next step. All right? And absolutely use our guidance and our oracular capacity to tune to this next step and really start to be discerning. Does this feel right? What does it feel like in my body? How much light does it carry? Is that light a light that's a pretty light, that's gorgeous, but is going to distract me away from my path? Or is it a light that is actually going to anchor me more and more deeply onto my path? So, yeah, it takes that daily work, really. And I don't know who does daily tuning into themselves work, but a lot of us are quite frightened of it. A lot of us resist it, and a lot of us struggle with it because there's so much stuff around us being clairvoyant. And I guess that we do it with clients. We'll suddenly step into that role with clients. Do it for yourself as well. All right. Just checking into the comments. Karen, feeling much better, a continuation from the first week. Yes, for those of you who 2 weeks ago we had a workshop where we started to actually kind of work out and write and answer questions about what guidance feels like for us, what the being heroic in the world feels like to us, what we kind of sense into what do we want to be heroic on behalf of, and what do we need more courage to do. So that first workshop, you can pop back in there and really jump into that. Yeah, so daily dedication. And like all the ancient traditions tell us, is that spiritual understanding and spiritual growth comes from practice. And the voice is a place of practice. It is absolutely a place of practice. We often think it's just going to happen. And it doesn't just happen. Sure, we can open up our flow, but then to master our skill sets around that intuitive flow takes daily practice. So I've popped in some exercises in the site for you. I've popped in, starting to get the singing going, starting to get the toning going, starting to get the physical vocal warm-up stuff going, a rolled R, that getting the tongue loose, the jaw loose, starting to deconstrict this scaredy cat huddle that so many of us are carrying in the throat, jaw, tongue. This area tends to go, I'm not supposed to be powerful or just close up. So starting to open up this space on the physical level and on the energetic level. So this is a lot of the work that we will be doing. We will be including that practical skill set. Linda, your rolled R is coming more and more. Yay! It takes a while. You think of how long it takes a little child to learn to form their consonants and their vowels. It takes them a while. So if it doesn't come straight away, persist, do it in the shower. It is the best vocal warm-up exercise on the planet. I've probably told most of you this before, but I do, if I'm learning an opera, I will do 3 hours on a rolled R, that entire operatic piece before I put any words to it. Over and over and over, getting the rolled R nuance and everything, really working that freedom and flexibility of the tongue, jaw, larynx. Then you put the words. And as soon as you put consonants in it and vowels, everything goes. So yeah, the rolled R is the perfect initiation starting point exercise to play with. Donna, you can't get it and it just doesn't come out. No, have patience. Patience, patience. Take your time. There's no rush. There's no rush. It could take the whole year. That's totally fine with me. But Donna, if the rolled R isn't comfortable to start with, just try and it's like on the breath, on a little sigh. And again, yeah, you can do that good. And start to really feel the relaxation and the connection to the breath. That breath over the tongue. And then you get more and more like you just sighing into it. And you can even go for the really low larynx. It's good. It takes you into that. You can play with it. Have a lot of fun. Sound like a cat. Yeah. Well, we know that the cat, that cat purr heals bones. It's an incredible healing frequency. And so this rolled R is like it speaks to your bones, and the bones are where the resonance sits. Because resonance, sound travels in hard surfaces better than in soft surfaces. You try and bang together, a feather, you get no sound. Bang, stiffen your hands, and you get sound. So yeah, speaking to the bony structure is very healing. Yeah, pretend to be a cat purring. Ah, you little puppy's doing it with you. How funny. That's so cute. Donna, are you brave enough to hop on and show me your rolled R, and I'll tell you what's not engaging? You game? Tell me if you're not, but I'll tell you which bits need to start activating.
It just doesn't happen. I tried it when you did the healer's voice. I was practicing it for ages, and it. Yeah.
Right. Do you want to show me what it does, and I'll tell you which bits on.
I don't even know where to start, honestly.
Just deep breath and go like that. Good. Okay. So what's happening is this. Because we're Australian speakers,
Yep.
have a really horizontalized larynx position, and you're flaring out these muscles here.
Yep.
And you'll be completely oblivious to the fact that you're doing it.
Yep.
So what I want you to do is pop your fingers on your larynx, and this is the same for all Australians. Americans have such a better time of it. Their larynx is much more horizontal than an Australian larynx. And I want you to go like you're just about to vomit. Right? Like you actually go. There you go. Yeah, yeah. So did you see how that started to do it?
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
about as far as I can get. That's like, yeah.
Yeah. So that, try that again. Good. All right. So the thing that is the next step, so you have the initiation of the roll.
Yeah.
Next thing is getting the air to keep going. So your air stops. So it's actually the breath that's going, no, that's enough. So you need to get more fierce.
Okay.
It might, and only do it a couple of times because it'll hurt your throat a little bit.
Yeah, because my throat gets real dry and scratchy when I do it.
Yeah, just do it twice.
Yep.
Yeah, don't do it more than twice, but do it twice a day and actually see if you can feed through here.
Yep.
Fold right over. So you're pushing the air through.
Okay.
And that will give you, start to stretch it out a bit because you've got that initiation of the roll.
Yes.
Yeah, the hubby will like it. See how like every voice is different. Every voice is completely unique, and you know there's all these tiny muscles that are involved, and it's a whole kind of here to there action, and it requires certain muscles to behave in a certain way. And so that's what I'm going to help you with. If you're game through this process, to actually get the voice really starting to activate on the physical level as well. Because that's part of it. Thank you, Donna, for being so beautiful and brave. Thank you. I mean, it's incredibly helpful if you are game to, get me to help you technically, because I'm a technical expert. All right, so that is one zone that I can listen to a sound and go, oh, okay, your left rib cage isn't connected to the sound, that sort of thing. So that's easy for me. Step into a courage, yes, and it's the daring to say, my voice isn't perfect yet, but that doesn't matter because of course it's not perfect yet because none of us are that yet. We're all learning, and we're all learning to bring in the pieces that have become subdued, quiet, disengaged, disconnected from this core, powerful voicing of who we are. That the last couple of thousand years have actually deconstructed the faculty, the natural ability of the voice. Rant over. All right, gorgeous ones. So the first call of the month is an hour and a half, and the second call, this one, is an hour. And then the two next week are half an hour, but if there's more questions, we'll keep going. Usually they end up being about 45 minutes. And that's how it works every month. The first Monday, the third Monday, and the fourth Wednesday and Thursday. Except for the Americans, that's the day before. So it's your first Sunday and your first Tuesday and Wednesday in the evenings, afternoon evenings. I love it. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. And if there's any last questions, just say. I'm more than happy to answer anything. Otherwise, we'll go and have an amazing day and tuning into our guidance. Listen to the replay. Yeah, great. All right, take care, gorgeous ones. And it's so wonderful to see you. Bye.